Times-Picayune, the New Orleans Advocate. So I guess that's the publications right here in New Orleans for newspapers. That looks nice right here. It's like a little circle or monument. Yeah, Quando Rondo wasn't lying when he said this looks a lot like Savannah, because I saw something similar to this in Savannah. And then even when you look at that square, Lafayette Square, they have several squares like that in Savannah as well. Shout out to Quando Rondo, by the way, man. In my opinion, one of the best rappers out right now. Like, you know, bar none. Very talented young man. I'm over here by the New Orleans Ernest Morale Convention Center. This is a convention center of New Orleans, and it is named after former Mayor Ernest Morale. Very modernized building right here on Convention Center Boulevard, right over here by the mighty Mississippi River. So there is actually an outlet mall that's located right alongside the mighty Mississippi. So we're gonna check that out. Check out that mural right there with the water animals, the aquatic animals. You see the whales, stingrays, dolphins. Really nice sculpture. Just wanted to get that in the frame. W. Land is the author of that beautiful piece. But yes, this mall is called the Outlet Collection of Riverwalk. It is actually adjacent to the Hilton Riverwalk Hotel. So it's pretty cool that New Orleans has this. This is the first time I've seen, I'm not saying New Orleans is the only city that has this, but this is the first city, or the only city that I'm aware of, that has a mall that's located, a full-fledged mall located right next to a riverfront. So we're definitely gonna go check that out. Oh, it's an indoor mall. I thought it was more like an outdoor mall, but we'll see. Feels pretty good in here. This is the inside of the mall right here. They have a little food court down that way. Y'all check this out. They even have an outdoor eating area right here on the dock. And it's right here. You got a good view of the river. So apparently this is a port as well. So New Orleans is a port city. So they do have a port over this way. So they have cruise ships as well as container ships for cargo. So this is it right here. See that bridge right over there? I'm over here at the Riverwalk, right here on the mighty Mississippi, here in New Orleans, the NO, you know. And check this out. They have these binoculars over here. So you can insert 2 quarters and you get a really good view of the river as well as the ships on the river. Check this out. Check this out. What is this thing called? A jester or something like that? I think they're called jesters. Representing that Mardi Gras culture. And check this out over here. All these buildings over here. They also have, I think they have a Caesar's Hotel right over there. It's called the Spanish Plaza. As you can see the circle of water right here. So apparently this represents the Spanish rule of New Orleans. You know, the French colony of Louisiana, or the Spanish colony of Louisiana, depending on the time period. It's called the Spanish Plaza. Latoya Cantrell, mayor, all the city council members right here. And this was landscape architected by Dana Brown and Associates and general contractor Tuna Construction in 2018. Right by these railroad tracks. I guess the streetcar runs over here as well. View Orleans. I wonder what that is. They have tickets for View Orleans. I guess that's probably for I guess that's for like if you want to get on the riverboat or something. There goes the Audubon Aquarium. Let me go this way. Canal Street streetcar. At the corner of Canal and Peter Street. It's the U.S. Custom House right here. See, buildings like that, those custom houses, those are common in port cities like New Orleans. Like Savannah had one as well. When I did my Savannah vlog, there's a port house there. So here it is right over here. Or customs house rather. This is Decatur and Canal Street, but I'm gonna make this left. I'm gonna bust this left over here on Magazine Street. Because I saw that part of Canal Street earlier. There goes one of those bike tours. There's some good restaurants over here. St. James Hotel, the historic St. James, right over here.
Well, you went.
They were
Another federal building, Hale Boggs Federal Building. Corner of Magazine and Poydras. Court of Appeals building. It seems like no matter what street you go down in New Orleans, no matter what neighborhood you go to in New Orleans, there's always going to be a lot of fascinating buildings, old historical buildings, especially those from the 1800s that are still intact and preserved very well. New Orleans is definitely a unique city, very vibrant culture, which I have noticed since I've been here. And for those who are into the arts, they do have a glass works and printmaking studio. So they do glass blowing in that building right over there. New Orleans Artworks. So what I'm noticing and what I just found out is that a lot of these buildings are old warehouses. So this is alternatively called the Warehouse District of New Orleans, but it's on Magazine Street. So supposedly Magazine Street was named after the Spanish word magazine or almazan, which means warehouse. So a lot of these buildings, you can tell, are old warehouses that have been converted for other uses such as art galleries and museums. Check that out. They have a National World War II museum right here in this building over here. But this is the main building. Oh shoot, look at this. Oh, there goes the sightseeing New Orleans bus right here, by the way, tour bus. But this is the museum for World War II. And across the street over there is parking for the World War II museum. But this is the museum right here. So if you're really into that type of history, you know, World War II history, you can come over here to Magazine Street, and it's located on Magazine Street. So right after you see all those historic warehouses and buildings, you can come see a more modernized building right here with the World War II Museum. Nice architecture, nice sculptures that sit right outside the museum. Oh, that's Anne Frank, you know, from the Diary of Anne Frank. There's a sculpture of her right here. Sometime this terrible war will be over. Surely the time will come when we are people again and not just Jews. And this is Anne Frank, April 11th, 1944. So again, this was all in the midst of the World War II. So Anne Frank was from Germany, but she was a German, and she was of German and Jewish ancestry. So, you know, and of course during that time the Nazis were persecuting Jews in Germany. So her family, you know, basically hid out as much as they possibly could. And check this out. Little rock fragments right here. The soldier and his K9 right here. Man of the war dogs. Okay. It's a squad leader and all his soldiers. So these are a few museums over this area. They also have a museum over there in that red building. It's the Ogden Museum of Southern Art. And from over here, I can also see the tower for the news station, for the NBC news station, NBC 6 right here in New Orleans. So very neat area. But if you're into, again, if you're a history buff and into World War II history, this will be your place to come right over here. And if you're in New Orleans, again, this building can't be any more than 15 years old, probably anywhere between 10 to 15 years old. Yeah, it opened in 2000, so it's 25 years old, almost 25 years old. I thought it was more recent than that, but yeah, this opened in 2000, so. Some more little markers. Stephen Ambrose was the museum founder and author, so that's a picture of him right over here. He proposed the idea of a D-Day museum to his close friend Nick Moeller in the year 1990. So they was basically planning this years before they actually built it in New Orleans. So yeah, a cool museum right here on Magazine Street.